trunk rotation. Trunk rotation is a big one. So when we walk, we want to make sure that our trunk is rotating, and that'll help us absorb the spring as we walk and move. But if our chest and if the movement of our trunk rotation is frozen because we're not activating it like we're going to do here, eventually the hips take the brunt of the spring when we walk, the knees and the ankles, instead of the trunk rotation absorbing the spring. So by engaging this functional axis, it's going to help relax the muscles and open the muscles of the trunk rotation, and that's going to help everything feel more buoyant as we move, right? Okay. So adjust yourself to be comfortable. And first thing we're going to do is you're going to bring your left knee on top of your right leg. So the back of the left knee rests on top of the right thigh, okay? And then you bring your arms by your side here like this, just to kind of stabilize yourself. So I like to go to about 45 degrees, maybe 35. Now what I'd like you to do very slowly, you're just going to bring your legs down to the left side about 4 inches, and then slowly start to bring your hips back to neutral and let the knees come up to neutral. Okay, let's do that again. Slowly now, let the legs drop and fall to the left side, and then slowly bring the hips to neutral, let the knees come up. So what are we doing here? What's happening as the knees go down, this lower right quadrant of the trunk, namely the obliques and the transverse abdominis, your trunk rotators here, are lengthening. They have to get long in order for this to happen. Now, when the hips come back to neutral, and this left leg is like a weight to help you feel these muscle groups here. As the hips come to neutral and the knees come to neutral, these muscles tighten. So here's a pandiculation, a lengthening as the knees fall, and then slowly contracting as the hips come to neutral and the knees follow. Good. If these muscles are frozen, it's going to cause problems. So we're unfreezing these muscles and we are pandiculating them just like this. Now this is the lower half of the trunk rotation on the right side. Okay, so you could try going also further down. Again, if there's any pain ever, we're going too far for our personal condition and we need to just back off a little bit. So you start slow and then you can start to increase the movement. I want you to start to feel these muscles here working. And then you can also, when you keep going, and then eventually you can start to even use them consciously to help participate, bringing the hips to neutral, kind of like you lift a bag, grocery bag, using your biceps. Similar concept, but you're using these muscles. But we don't use them we don't think of them very often, right? So here we're thinking of them. That's it. So we warm up the trunk rotation on the lower right side, and then we can switch sides. All right? The right knee is on top of the left thigh, arms stabilizing you, and let's go to the other side. So just a few inches to that side and then back to neutral. I always make little adjustments after I do the movement. Feel free. So again, you just bring the legs down to the right side now until you get a little feeling of lengthening on that lower left side, and then slowly bring the hips to neutral. I have some flexibility here, so I'm taking it down a little further, but you stay with what's comfortable for you. And again, that right leg here is like a weight for your muscles, for you to feel them, because that's the whole purpose. The name of the game here is to feel the muscles contracting and relaxing. These 13 movements are like taking you on a tour of your muscles, your functional muscle groups. Now we're doing the lower left quadrant. We'll just do it a couple more times. Ideally, we do it about the same times on each side, but it's not always perfect okay. Good. Last one. You can always put your hand there and feel those muscles tightening to bring your hips up. I'll just do it one more time. And legs fall, and then, whoop. Okay, great. So that's the lower half of the trunk rotation, right? The right side and the left side. So with your right knee on top of your left leg, bring your arms up like this, in this position. That just gets the arms out of the way so that you can feel your trunk rotating. Now, if you have any spinal injuries at all or any sensitivity in your spine, be very careful here. So if you're very flexible and there's no injuries at all, you can get a really nice movement. You can get a nice movement to the left side. But if there's any kind of pains or problems, just go slow and gentle, okay? Let's just move the upper half of the trunk. So go ahead and slowly, I want you to keep your arms straight, keep your palms together, and roll your shoulders and your head and your hands to the left as far as it'll go comfortably. And then slowly bring the trunk and arms and head back to center. If there's any pinching in the back, just do it a little bit slower. Okay, and again, go to your limit and then come back. Now, if you have a lot of flexibility here, and the more you do this, the more flexibility you'll gain on this range, but you can go further and further and further. You're activating this range of motion and all the muscle groups that are responsible for doing this movement. Okay. Okay, good. So that's the upper half of the trunk rotation moving to the left. Now we're going to combine the movement of the legs with the movement of the arms. Trunk rotation demands the lower half and the upper half work together. So in order to do that, we're going to do this. So slowly, I want you to just do a few inches so we don't go too far here for starters. So drop first the legs a little bit to the right, and then rotate the shoulders and arms and head to the left a little bit to counterbalance that movement, and then slowly bring it up to neutral. Somewhere in here you're breathing, of course. All right, now let's go again. Slowly rotate the legs to the right, and then rotate the shoulders and arms and head and hand to the left, and slowly snap everything together. Try to keep your shoulders relaxed when it comes back to neutral. And then again, you start to roll to the left and roll to the right simultaneously. Good. Let's do that one more time. Hips and legs move to the right, arms and shoulders move to the left. Good. All right, and then keep your arms up, switch legs. Just do the upper half of the trunk here. So rotate the shoulders, arms, and head to the right. All right, then come back to neutral. Notice how far you can go comfortably. If there's any pain, you don't want to go beyond that pain. You want to stop. And the more you do the movements, though, the less pain you'll likely have and the more flexibility you'll gain. Relax the shoulders, and we'll do it one more time here, just the upper half. Again, there's muscles working to make this happen in the trunk. Now let's combine the two. So the legs fall to the left while simultaneously counterbalancing the shoulders and the arms and the hands to the right. It's an awkward movement, really. You're making sure that this functional range of motion doesn't get frozen. We'll do it one more time. Again, ideally you do the same number of times on each side, but it's not always perfect. Okay, good. So that's your trunk rotation. And then we break it down, right? So you do the lower half, the upper half, and then we combine the two for both sides. And that's it. And then you can just bring your arms here for a moment, keep your feet on the ground, and allow a breath or two to happen. So just allow a couple breath cycles. You might notice that energy starts to flush up into the head, or you might notice tingling in the feet or fingers. At any point, you might notice energy start to increase in your body with different feelings. What's happening is the energy gets stuck in the muscles. Our brain is basically unconsciously keeping our energy stuck in the muscle. Now we're getting conscious of the amount of energy we want in a contraction by contracting, relaxing it. And what happens is that energy that's stuck in the muscle starts to free up, and then it goes and circulates through the rest of the body. The feelings of aging can be in large part because the muscles are so tight, and we're tired because our energy is stuck in the muscles, and we don't feel that freedom of movement. We start to feel like a tin man or a tin woman, so to speak. And then we feel old. But actually, the old feeling can be in large part because the muscles are just hypertonic, stuck all the time. Unlock them. I like to say unlock, or you're melting the ice. Okay, good.